Hello guys, welcome to the Character Information Genshin Impact Edition. We are going to be talking about Albedo from Genshin Impact. The info of Albedo is provided by the information given in the Genshin Impact Wiki fandom, so let's begin. Warning, this might have some spoilers since he's a new character and all, so yeah, you've been warned. And I'll make good work that I don't butcher any names. Albedo, also known as the Quiet Prince, is a playable Geo character in Genshin Impact. The mysterious Albedo is the chief alchemist and captain of the investigation team of the Knights of Favonius. With Sucrose as his assistant, he holds an infinite desire to learn about the world of Teyvat, carefully studying every object around him. Albedo is a male. His birthday is 13th of September. His constellation is the Steph Cretaceous. His nation is Mondstadt, and his favorite food and special dish is Woodland Dream. Albedo became the playable character on December 23rd, 2020. He uses a sword as his weapon, and his element is Geo. He goes by 4 titles: Cryo Prince, the Chalk Prince, Chief Alchemist, Captain of the Investigation Team. Albedo is described as an admirable and popular figure in Mondstadt, as well as an alchemist genius. He pursues the truth of the world of Teyvat and seems to be able to create living organisms through his alchemical talents. Albedo is also apparently good with children, and even the Homuncular Nature listens to him. Albedo is a talented artist and illustrates John Queen's novels. He researches and studies whatever he's interested in, and is quickly changing interests, have him giving Albedo the habit of leaving his paintings unfinished. Albedo wears a white coat with short sleeves, a black hood, black and gold details, a golden chain and lining. Under this he wears an indigo shirt and a pair of black shorts, along with plain black stockings. Embellish thigh-high black boots with silver accessories, and long black gloves with orange undersides and golden details, and also a diamond-shaped gold marking on his neck, and he wears his vision on a collar on his shirt right below it. According to Kaya and Lisa, Albedo is a handsome young man. The Favonius Bladework Weiss. It's an attack used by Albedo in comic. Its normal charge attack. The normal attack performs 5 ripple strikes. The charged attack consumes a certain amount of stamina to unleash a second ripple sword strikes. And its plunging attack plunges from mid-air to strike the ground below, damaging opponents along the path and dealing with AoE damage upon impact. The Abiogenesis Solar Isotoma. This is Albedo's elemental skill. Albedo creates a solar isotoma using alchemy, which deals with AoE damage on its appearance of the Geo element. When the enemies are within the solar isotoma zone, take damage. The solar isotoma will graduate transient blossoms with the deal of AoE Geo damage. Damage dealt scales off Albedo's DEF. Transient blossoms can only be generated every time for like 2 seconds. When a character is located at the lotus of the solar isotoma, the solar isotoma will alchemate Geo power to form a crystallized platform that lifts the character up to a certain height. Only one crystallized platform can exist at a time. The solar isotoma is a Geo construct. The wide of Progenitor Tectonic Tide is Albedo's elemental burst. Under Albedo's command, Geocrystals surge and burst forth, dealing AoE Geo damage in front of him. If a solar isotoma created by Albedo himself is on the field, 7 fatal blossoms will generate in the solar isotoma field, bursting violently into bloom and dealing AoE damage of the geo element. The tectonic tide damage and fatal blossom damage will not generate any transient blossoms. Calcite Might is Albedo's passive talent 1. The transient blossoms generated by Abiogenesis solar isotoma, it will deal 25% more damage to opponents whose HP is below 50%. The Homuncular Nature is Albedo's passive talent 2. Using a rite of passage Tectonic Tide increases the elemental mastery of nearby party members by 125 for 10 seconds. The Flash of Genius Albedo is Albedo's passive talent 3. When Albedo crafts weapons acceleration materials, he has a 10% chance to receive double the product. Perfect for a party member on your team. Alchemy is an ancient art, and many of its secrets have been lost to history. A few commonly known alchemy techniques of today are but enough to put some broken odds and ends together, saving you the money you would have otherwise spent on glue. Night alchemy is not so ignoble an art, or so most alchemists would protest. But as far as the advantaged citizen of Mondstadt who connected that was alchemy, at least until the day Albedo suddenly appeared and decided to stay in Mondstadt. The young man displayed the true possession of alchemy to all, bringing with him a massive corpus of wisdom that will even the Sumeru academia did not possess. The universe is a heaven reserved and the earth is a dream lost to time. This is thus the most basic form of complex life. As if to provide evidence for his claim, Albedo lifted the burnt ash of a flower that once grew atop a dangerous slime's head. Seconds later, the centralia sprouted from the ground of ash in his hand. And this, a new birth. Albedo has a very important job within the Knights of Favonius, but does not often appear in public. Still, he does not have a strange and eccentric temper that people tend to assume of academics. In fact, his earliest in all his dealings. He is, however, of the persuasion that it requires more energy to maintain relationships established on expensive enthusiasm. As a result, Albedo's equivalent of friendship involves maintaining an appropriate degree of distance. Whenever shutting himself away to work or traveling and gathering materials, no one in Mondstadt knows how to find him. Albedo's tendency to avoid social interactions does not make him a cold-hearted person. He is sincere in content when introducing his assignments. Tiaminus and Circros, he finds pleasure in giving his sketches to the citizens of Mondstadt. Yet he couldn't help but feel sincere disappointment that Lisa, for all her great talents, has chosen to remain a mere librarian. Albedo got into Mondstadt because his master's recommendation letter. On the same level, the statement is true. Nevertheless, Mondstadt's gates are open to all, and a recommendation letter is not strictly necessary. Indeed, it could be argued that Albedo's life would have been far more comfortable without the letter. This is because the recent of the letter was the famed traveler writer Alice, an old friend of Albedo's master, Rite's daughter. After receiving the letter, Alice considered its request. So Rite said that you'll need a laboratory, and not one of the size that a citizen could build either. I know. And just like that, she drew him into the Knights of Favonius. The work of the Knights is actually quite easy for Albedo, requiring only 5% of his energy. Albedo had imagined that the rest of his energy could be spent on experiments. With the Knight's full range of apparatus at his disposal, and yet Alice had a daughter named Klee. Yes, that Klee. You'll be a family from now on. Treat her like a real younger sister. From that day forth, dying on Klee's desires would come to take up most of Albedo's remaining energy. Albedo has no memory of any blood relations. From birth, he was already adventuring deep within domains with his master. Of course, Miss Alice, the Knights of Favonius, and that traveler who had a sense of a stellar depths about them, they are all important. And yet his master is unquestionably the most special to him. For Albedo, she is only kin. She was cold and strict woman who raised him and taught him the secrets of alchemy. The universe is the dark essence of the true starry sky, and the earth is the accumulated memories of time and lives. The chalk that is you, the earth, is where alchemy gets its name, and it is the basis of all life. In this, she demonstrated her technique before him as a huge life form burst from its culture tank in a shower of shattered fragments. This is a new birth. Albedo once led a simple and contemplated experience. It was the life free of considerations but dull in its monotonity. His purpose centered around complying his teacher, executing her orders, and meeting her expectations. But one day, deep in the heart of a dungeon, the teacher and apprentice discovered an artifact known as the Heart of Nibiru's. From then on, his teacher disappeared, having not but a single note to left for him, a recommendation letter, and a classical text. Upon the note was written, "Albedo, go to Mondstadt, find my old friend Alice, and give her the recommendation letter. Complete your final assignment." The classical text was one of the last extant manuscripts of the Opus Magnum, which his teacher had kept with her. If one were to push the definition a little, she had left him another gift, the title of Credit Prince, and with it, the acknowledgement that she had nothing further to teach him. In the past, Albedo's assignments had always been very difficult, but he had always believed wholeheartedly that his teacher would make a good on a threat to leave him, should he fail. But this assignment she had left to him was far too hard and far beyond the limit of his abilities. Did this mean then that he was fated to never complete it, and thus never see his teacher again? Your final assignment: show me the truth and meaning of this world. The alchemy that Albedo commands is wholly different from any of the arts practiced in the 7 nations of Teyvat. Its lineage can be traced back to the nation of Khaenri'ah. Khaenri'ah was an underground realm, and its natural fauna were a few indeed. As such, its alchemy focused more heavily on the creation of life. The art of creation was known as the art of alchemy. Albedo had learned of this in his youth. from reading his master's notes. The next stage after soil is chalk, which was also something his master had mentioned. Chalk is a spotless soil and was used to make mortal men. Now Albedo understands alchemy in a far greater depth than he did in the beginning, having also consolidated his understanding of knowledge from the soil was birthed chalk. The profundity of his statement is well understood by Albedo. Such incompletable statements are bound up in the memories of his master. His master was not his birth mother, but Albedo has no doubt that his life seems from her nonetheless. I hope I'm not overthinking things. When parents tell their children of the meaning of this world, they must mean living a happy life, right? From time to time, Albedo finds himself mustering on this statement. Albedo developed his drawing habit while traveling with his master. At first, he would simply illustrate his notes, but eventually he would discover that drawing the details helped him to understand the physical makeup of the objects he examined, being of great unity to his alchemical studies. Indeed, drawing allowed him to enter a pleasant state of clarity, one in which the only things on his mind were to observations and the work in front of him. Thus, Albedo became the master artist without even ever having received formal training. When strolling through Mondstadt, he enjoys capturing still life, particularly people in moments of joy. Sometimes he even gives his artwork to his unsuspecting models, believing that such transcendent enjoyment, criticized in a single moment, is something to treasure. Albedo continued to refine his skills in the manner, until one day when he was taken aback by illustrations from Isotoma. How was it that drawing of such generality could possess such narrative power? Amazed, he decided to give it a go himself. Eventually, after combining with a certain novelist by the name of Queen, A Legend of the Sword was printed and published. Unfortunately, it received middling reviews, being labeled as a dictionary with divine illustrations. Gaining a vision came a little surprise to Albedo. Indeed, when he received it, he gave it a single glance before carrying on with what he was doing before. He briefly felt any wave of emotion at all, as if this was something to be taken for granted. As far as he is concerned, his vision is merely a tool with which he can more conveniently construct his research. That which truly sparks joy with him is turning the unknown into the known. One day, he will understand all there is to know about this world, and visions themselves are no expectation. Fact 1. Dynamis mentions Albedo in his dialogue. Fact 2. Albedo is the illustrator for Queen's novel, A Legend of the Sword. Fact 3. It has been heavily suggested that Albedo is from Conria. Fact 4. Albedo has a Paimon gem-shaped star on his neck, in the same shape as the stars in Kaya and Thing's Leaf Eyes. All three also have the star shaped as moths on their clothing. Fact 4. One popular fan theory suggests that Albedo could be a homunculus created by his master, Divine Daughter, who may have also been the alchemist known as Gold. Fact 6. Albedo is highly associated with creating life from inorganic material. Entrails from ash, flowers from geo, and living organisms from drawing on paper. This is the ending of Albedo's Information Genshin Impact Edition. Please check out all other videos of the character information series. Amber will be next. Thank you for watching. Silverchan signing out.